I'm Artemis Eyster, and today I wanted to show you some of my drawings and my field notes and explain how I do them, and also encourage you to try field noting and journaling. So normally when I field note, I start out with a pencil sketch. So it's very nice to start with pencil because then you can erase stuff, which you can't do with pen or watercolor. So if I was going to draw this grapevine, tendril and leaf, I would first start with just the general outline of maybe this leaf, starting with this leaf here, and make note of that it's pretty deep teeth, and it sort of has three major parts to it, major veins in it. Now obviously this is just a rough sketch, but if I decided that I wanted to put color into it to really get an idea of the nice yellows and spring greens, then I would use watercolor. And I use this portable watercolor set. I got it online, and it's nice because it's really small and handy, so it doesn't take up that much room. And I use a koi water brush, K-O-I. You can find them online, and the really nice thing about it is it has water in the top of the brush. So instead of having to carry around a little thing of water and a brush and dipping it in, and it's a lot more difficult, it's just easier if you just have one brush that has water and the brush all in one. I'm going to color in some of the green. It's a little too green, so add some yellow. Still looking at the leaf I'm drawing to make sure I'm getting everything down right. So there's just a rough sketch with watercolor in. And here's some of my other drawings if you want to see them that I took a little more time on. You can draw birds. I like to draw birds, but the thing about birds is they move around a lot, which is sort of a problem because you can't just sit and draw it and have it stand there for you. It's probably going to fly away. So you need to really focus on really capturing the idea of the bird in your mind, and then trying to remember what it looks like as you draw it. Some plants, some scenes. I work a lot in watercolor, but I also like doing a lot in pen because it's just one step, just sketching in pen. It feels really free. Yes, you can make mistakes and you can't erase them, but it's really fun just to sketch in pen. And also I write a lot in my journal. Normally I just write like the day's events so I can remember them, but sometimes I write poetry or write down what I'm seeing. So if I see 20 red-winged blackbirds, I'm like, oh, I saw 20 red-winged blackbirds, and then I can look back and I can see, oh, the red-winged blackbirds came back a lot earlier this year than the year before, and it just gives me a better understanding of how the wildlife is going on around me. And also another really good thing about drawing what you see is that if you draw stuff, you really have to look at it. Like, I have seen many grapevines, and I didn't really remember that it had the three major parts to the leaf, and the three really pieces that stick out really far. And if I hadn't drawn it, I wouldn't be able to know that. So when you draw something, you really have to look at it because you're trying to put it down on paper. You can't just say, oh, I think it's green, and I think it's maybe some teeth on it. because you really need to capture what the real object is and then try and put it on paper. And also another really good thing about that is if you're out in the field and you see this plant that you don't really know what it is, you can just get out your pencil and you can sketch it. And then when you go back, you can ask one of your friends if they know what it is. And the nice thing about that is you don't have to lug around a huge field guide. Because I know there's some field guides and they're like this thick, so you're carrying around this huge big book. And it's a lot easier if you just bring your journal and take a sketch of it. So here's a drawing that I did in 2003. I was around 6. And I drew an eastern cottontail. And you can't really tell that it's a rabbit at all. It sort of looks like a half dog, half eagle, but that doesn't really matter because I was really spending time out in nature looking at an animal and trying to remember it and put it down on paper. And just the process, you really get to understand the animal better. And I know that many of you might not spend that much time outside, but even just going outside for a little bit and sketching one thing, you'll get to understand nature around you a lot better. Lots of things in nature are really, really amazing to draw because you can't find them. You can look at them in books, but it's a lot more amazing if you're drawing the real animal, the real caterpillar out there instead of drawing from a book. So I really, really encourage you to go outside and just draw anything you want. Doesn't matter if it's a snake or a piece of bark, but just the process of being outside and in nature and drawing stuff is just a really great thing to do. And we really need a lot more people to be outside because in our world there's so many people just living in cities and they never go outside at all. So if you can just encourage your friends to go outside and really enjoy the amazing world around us. Thank you so much.